Hello, welcome back. This is Annette Stanton. I have a subject that is so close to my heart that I was asked from a client recently. And the question that she literally said, I want to learn more about listening skills and how to be more present. Okay, so can you relate to that one? We're so busy nowadays, aren't we? There's so much pressure when it comes to work and family and activities that goes on, projects and so forth. Okay, so how do we listen fully and be present, right? So let's break that down. Listening fully, first of all. So listening fully is listening with all your senses. So what does that mean? It's creating space in your mind so that you bring nothing to the conversation. So listening fully is being with the environment, the space. You can practice it wherever you are now, just in the listening to the senses, like I can hear people working over there, building the senses. I can feel my stomach rumbling because I'm about to have lunch. I can feel the tingling of my fingers. Yeah. So it's being able to feel your body. It's an inner body experience where you're listening in, right? And you're listening. So listening isn't just listening to another person speak. It's listening to your own inner voice going on. What do you tell yourself throughout the day? What's the conversation you have with yourself? Is it going a dime a dozen? Or is it being in a state of peace and just noticing, oh, that's a thought, interesting. No, that doesn't serve me, right? So fully listening isn't just listening to another person. But let's come to that now. So when listening to another person, it's being able to bring nothing with you. In other words, you clear your mind, right? Most of the time, we're hearing what other people are saying, but we're not fully listening to understand, right? So one of the things that my clients say to me is the first time I've really felt heard and gotten. It's because I don't bring anything to the table. I'm fully listening with all my senses. And then I'll know what to say. But most people are they're rehearsing something in their mind based on what that person is saying. And when they stop, I'm going to say this. Or I have the answer to that, right? That's not fully listening. That's listening to you and your opinion and what you want to say to step into the space of that other person, to either be liked, accepted, needed, wanted. It's an unmet needs thing, another story, okay? But this is all a part of it. So to be fully listening in, and it's using the senses of listening to what they're saying and what they're not saying. So I'm going to give you an example, a real life example this week with a client. And this client was expressing to me how proud she was of taking action in a certain area. And she had someone close to her that she wanted to share that with. And it was, well, that's fantastic. What's next? Is that all you're doing? So she was this person that wanted to feel, just to share her pride and acknowledgement, her own acknowledgement, right? And then wanting to just be in the space, wanting to share it with someone that she trusted, and still does. So what happens is a lot of people are ready to jump in the space and share something on top of. So it's practicing listening with that open mind, open space, and the space and the pause is powerful. Because people get to hear when they speak, when you create the space for them to speak and for them to let it land, they hear it and they also hear their own answers. They also get to know themselves at another deeper level. So can you imagine if you were working with a team member at work? If you created that space of listening, coming from nothing, yet being committed to their vision and the values of who they are, their strengths, and the vision and the values of the company, can you imagine the dynamics of the team? Now, when we work on those particular areas and they feel fully heard and gotten, what do you think will happen when your turn to talk comes? They will then listen. Okay? And this is what transformational presence is all about. It's really listening in with all your senses. All right? So I encourage you to practice that, starting with yourself, listening in. And this is where the other aspect of the question that came in from my client is about being fully present. That's a part of that. So when you're fully present, it's not about being present to what you're doing. It's being present first with who you are being. How do you feel right now? Are you feeling anxious? Yeah. Are you feeling, it's an inside job. Are you feeling relaxed? Are you feeling rushed? Right? Because you take that with you everywhere you go, which then becomes your listening style, which is a part of the communication style. It's noticing those habits. But ultimately, what's transformational, and if you want results in whatever it is, whatever relationship, whether it's a personal relationship, whether it's a business relationship, if it's a team, if it's a sporting team, okay, if you want results, fully listening first to be heard and gotten is more powerful than you talking and telling them. It's a practice. Now, I'm not saying not advise, but there is a time to. But if that's all you're doing, then you'll actually drown out the strengths and really hearing and getting to know who that other person is and what they can bring to the table. Right? It's a practice. Just observe it. If you want to find out more information, then happy to have a conversation with you about that, and enjoy listening with full presence, so that others feel heard and gotten, and in turn, you will also. Have a fabulous day. This is Annette Stanton. Bye for now.